Hi, how are you today? And welcome to our talking tips. We've got talking tips. The next series is going to be about contractions, like I said. And now that you love the verb to be, we're going to start with contractions about the verb to be. We're going to start with I because let's just start with I. So when we do I am, you have the choice. You can say I am or you can say I'm. Right? Let's practice that a little bit. I am, I'm. I am, I'm. Again, it's up to you. What sounds the best to you? What's the easiest to remember? What's the easiest to say? That's the one you'll use, either I am or I'm. One important thing to remember is that am or am, is not the same as I'm. Lots of people confuse those and they'll say, when they say I'm, they'll say am, and vice versa. So you need to be real careful with that one, okay? So no problem, you can say I am or I'm, no problem, but make sure you make that distinction, okay? Cool. So, yes. Let's look at you because you're important too. Of course, you're important. So let's talk about how we do you are, right? So we can do you are or we can do your. You are your. You are your. You are your. Okay? Yeah, whichever one you choose, that's great. Which is the easiest to remember, which is the easiest to say, that's the one you're going to use. Now, an important question that a lot of people ask me is whether your, which is teo seo, right? Your hat. Is your hat the same as you're nice? The pronunciation is exactly the same. So lots of people try to make a difference. Your. The pronunciation is exactly the same. Of course, the meaning is different, but you don't have to try to make a distinction there, right? If you want to say your as far as you're nice, it's the same as your house. You're nice and I like your hat. Yeah? Cool. So you choose whether you prefer to say your or your, you are or your, and if you want to use your, awesome. Okay? Let's move on. This time, let's mix things up and start with women, yeah? Let's start talking about she first, right? So we can say, for sure, she is, or you can say she's, right? Let's practice those. She is, she's. She is, she's. She is, she's. Right? So it's up to you whether you prefer to say she is or she's. Now, the good thing is that she's sounds like the Portuguese X, right? Cheese. And it's also the Brazilian cheeseburger. Right? So you can say the Brazilian cheeseburger or X, she's, and you're already saying she's the contraction of she is. Of course, our cheeseburger is cheese or cheeseburger. But if you want to be able to say she's, you can go ahead and just say X or she's. Yeah? Cool. So that's a good one. That should make it a little easier. But again, you don't have to use she's. You can also say she is. Yeah? Now let's move on to he, yeah? Let's talk about the guys too, right? So he, ele, right? We can say he is or he's. Let's practice that one. He is, he's. He is, he's. He is, he's. Cool? You choose whichever sounds best for you, whichever is easiest for you to remember. The important thing to be careful of right there is that he is, the contraction of he is different than his, dele. Some people, they're very similar, and people have a tendency to make them sound the same, but they are not the same. So listen to the difference. He's, his. He's, his. If you have trouble making that distinction, go ahead and use he is and his, so you don't have any confusion in your own mind or for other people. Yeah? But in general, choose. He is, he's. Okay? Cool. We talked about she and he. She is for women. He is for men. But when we talk about things, remember that in English, we use she and he for people, and sometimes for animals, which we often think are people. But otherwise, if it's not animals that we love a lot, for all the things, we use it. So for it, when we're talking about things and places, we use it. So you can say it is or it's. It is its. It is its. Okay? Cool. Cool. Now let's look at our next one. Let's talk about us, yeah? When we talk about us, we're talking about we, yeah? So we can say we are or we're. We are, we're. We are, we're, right? We're is not the same as were, right? The same spelling. Of course, you don't have the apostrophe, but were is different than we're, right? Can you hear that difference? There's also the word weird, right? Maybe you've heard the word weird, which is estranho, right? They sound similar, but they're a little bit different, right? So we're weird. Can you hear the difference? And we're is also not the same as, for example, where, right? Sometimes people confuse those. Onde where is where versus we're, yeah? So go ahead and use we are or we're, but be careful that you don't say were, weird, or where, okay? So you use the one that's the best for you. And finalizing everything, wrapping it up, let's talk about them, right? Let's talk about other people. Yeah, when we talk about other people, we're gonna say they are or they're, yeah? They are there, they are there, yeah? Which you prefer to use? You know, that's up to you. Which is easiest for you to remember? They are there. Which is easiest for you to pronounce? You know which is the easiest for you. One important tip here, though, with there, is that there does sound the same. Many people ask me, is it the same as there, deles, there, and there, over there? Is it the same? And the answer is good or bad? The answer is yes, right? So the pronunciation is, so for example, I could say, they're going to their store over there. Yeah? Do you understand? They are going to their store. The store belongs to them over there. The pronunciation is totally the same. So for you to pronounce, that makes it nice and easy, right? But you might be asking me, oh my goodness, how do I tell the difference when someone else is talking? Maybe that's the bad news, right? Maybe that's the bad news because you can't hear the difference. Those are all pronounced the same. The only way you can tell the difference between those three theirs is based on context, yeah? So you'll know based on context which there people are talking about, yeah? And that finishes it up. We've talked about all the different kinds of to be and all the different contractions to talk about to be. And I hope that that cleared up some things for you. Often these are, again, simple things that seem very easy, but it's usually those easy things that are difficult. And it's important that we focus on the easy, simple things and make them actually very comfortable and make sure that you've really got those basics down because it is like a house. We've got those foundations really strong. It makes it a lot easier for us to build other things. And hopefully listening to these talking tips helped you to figure out some subtleties in pronunciation and other things. So thank you so much for joining me today. Super pleasure to talk to you as always. Have a wonderful day. Much light, much love, and until the next time, can't wait to talk to you soon. Ciao, ciao.